Well, hello, Author Nation. Thank you for tuning in. And this is a special one. We're going to be chatting with the man in charge of it all, the man putting it all together, Joe Solari. Joe, always good to talk to you, man. How you doing?
It's awesome to see you again and catch up and talk about all things Author Nation-y.
I'm
Too bad I didn't
excited.
have.
I think everyone is going to. Are those the colors? Are you wearing the Author Nation colors? Is that what?
No, our colors are a little more pastel-y.
Yeah, yeah.
I'm afraid to tell you how old this shirt is. It's older than my children.
Really? Okay. I don't think I still own anything that old, but
It's a
it could.
testament. It's a testament to its construction.
I have a good friend of mine who is rapidly losing weight now after years of being really heavy. And he kept every stitch of clothing from the past like 20, 30 years so that he didn't have to buy new clothing. Um,
Yeah,
but that's a whole other podcast, man. I'm excited about what we're going to talk about because this is one that are going to be really excited about, especially as it evolves. But in terms of this event, it's already kind of a big deal, and that is the signing store. Now, here's the thing. I'm almost entirely ignorant of what the signing store is, so we're going to start there. Why don't you explain to me like I'm an idiot, because which is easy to do. Explain to me what the signing store is and how it's going to benefit the authors attending.
sure. And I wouldn't like. It's been real hard for me because I've been living in this world for 6, 7 months. This is something that the minute I knew I was taking over the show, and I really started thinking about what it is that we're trying to do
Yeah.
with this show going forward. That wasn't just an opportunity to maybe like upgrade speakers or do things a little different. It's something that you and I have talked about, and that is what is publishing going to be in the future, and how can we take control of that, like we actually be deliberate in our influence on what the experience is going to be. So I think like let's really start at a high level. And what we wanted to be able to do was change the focus of the show from not just being author education, but you come here and there's a really good opportunity for you to find new customers.
Yeah.
What author says they got enough readers or listeners? I haven't met that person yet. You know?
Right. Right.
um,
Oh, I got
I just
enough
thought,
readers. I don't have enough money.
right. Well, yeah, that's true. Well, let me, then that's a good point. Like the what we're focused on is full priced, top tier readers. These are the kind of people that are looking for a different kind of experience. People that want to come somewhere, they want to meet authors, they want to pay a lot of money to have an experience, right? So for them to come to a place like Las Vegas for several days and stay there and make a weekend out of getting entertained, meeting authors,
Yeah.
hanging out with other readers and listeners is something that they want to do with their discretionary income, right?
Yeah.
So like that's the idea, is like we're not trying to find you 99-cent readers. We're trying to find you people that are going to come and spend a lot of money on a ticket so that they can spend time with you and other authors, and that they can go and easily get a lot of cool memorabilia and books that they can bring home to have part of their collection, right? This
Yeah.
isn't just about reading books. It's about getting books that they know have the signature of their favorite author or are special editions. There's something about it that makes it a deeper connection to them.
Yeah.
So that's kind of the big picture. So like, how do we deal with this? And, looking at a lot of the issues that have been issues at other shows, how could we fix those, right? Like we're starting from scratch. The slate is clean. And the thing that I thought about is, what if we had a store where a reader could come and buy a ticket and see all the author's books in one place, right? And they could easily discover those books because it was clean. It wasn't cluttered with a lot of other stuff. The genres were really, clear and distinct. We were showing what other people viewed that was similar and what other people bought on the store, so that we have those clear indicators of intent on there. And then you could buy that all in one checkout, right? So really smooth experience for a reader. Come in, buy a bunch of stuff, one checkout. I don't have to, like, for a lot of these reader events, you got to go to one website, find a list of authors, click a link to go to their website. Maybe it's a Shopify store, maybe it's a Google form, maybe it's Beventi, maybe it's something else. I mean, there's a lot of good solutions out there, but I'm now, if I'm a big spender, I've maybe come away with this thing with like 10, 15 orders from different places.
Right. Yeah.
Right. So we're saying, no, we've got you in the store, buy what you want to buy. Right.
It's a unified experience.
Unified experience.
Yeah.
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 You hit it. So now let's turn the pizza here and look at it from the author side. What could we do to make it cool for authors? Well, what's the most egregious pain point for an event?
You tell me.
Getting your stuff to the event.
Yes. Yeah. That's 99% of the reason why I've rarely ever participated in the.
Right. So maybe if it's local, you're willing to go order some books from Amazon, throw them in your car, drive over there. Fair enough.
Yeah.
We all know people that are diehard show people and are really good at this. They've got the setup where they went and mass printed a bunch of books. So they got a low cost. They got some storage. They load them up in the RV. They drive from show to show. They got it all figured out. But what about the rest of us?
Yeah.
Well, what took so long was building a unified e-commerce front that allows authors to load up their books, their interior and exterior files. And then we go and get them printed.
Oh, so the author isn't even on the hook for like the printing costs or anything. You guys are kind of taking that.
So yeah. So how it'll work is that you bring up a good point. So you definitely don't have the logistics. You don't have to figure out like, okay, I'm going to order a bunch of stuff. I got to get it shipped from Amazon to the Horseshoe Casino. I have to land it between certain days or they're going to really start charging me money. Any box that goes through most of these hotels, they charge like a wounded bull. Like it starts at $20 and goes up. And we don't evade that cost, but we've got a way of bringing that cost down because we're doing one big order, and I'll get to that in a second. But that's a lot of work to pull off. And that's why most people are like, nah, I'm not interested.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah. So what we do is the pre-orders, and the why I started this whole thing is like, hey, if I'm legally responsible as the showrunner to collect sales tax at RAVE. Okay. That's a Nevada state deal. Is like, as a showrunner, I've got to make sure that everyone collects tax appropriately. So if I have to do that, well, I'll go get a tax license and I'll get a, license to retail in the state, which I've gone and done. I'll become the merchant of record. So now I'll handle all the transactions, right? But I still need to now solve this next problem, which is like, well, if I got the store, now I just need the store to collect these orders up and then order them in bulk from a printer. So we have it set up where it essentially works like any other print on demand setup. So there's two ways that you would order books. There's your pre-orders that you put up where your fans come and they just buy, and they're 100%, the money comes from them into the system. Right.
Yeah.
But now what about the show? Let's say you're like, wow, I'm really selling a lot of books. I think I'm going to have some good walk up traffic here. I want 10 books of my first 3 series, 30 books. You can go into our store and order those books before our pre-order closes. We'll ship those books with your pre-orders.
Okay.
And then the day of the show, we throw a switch, and now the show becomes everybody's point of sale for the show. So you don't have to do transactions. You don't have to have your own retail system. A reader could come up and be standing at your table with their phone, go into their account, order one of those books that you had printed, right? They can see it in the pile and like, oh, I'm going to get that one. Then show you the order, or you can look on your side and see the order and then just hand them the book, because we'll be using that inventory to deal with all the transactions live on the day.
So what is the, in terms of overhead for the author, like what's the printing cost? Like, are they getting kind of a discount for bulk? What's going to come out of the author's pocket, especially if they don't sell? That's one of the questions that I'm worried my books won't sell.
Well, of course you're going to sell. So, I'm going to attack that problem a couple of different ways. First, just the general information. The cost, we're not making any money on the book. Okay. We're not marking your book up. In fact, we're taking a loss when I start talking about how we're marketing our tickets. And one of the things we're doing with that, the more books that get sold, the less ticket revenue we're going to have. And I'll get to that in a minute. But anyhow, let's say your book costs, after you load it into our system, you see a price of $9.80 for that book to be printed.
Yeah.
You now get to put whatever margin you want on that. But that $9.80 is your delivered cost to the show. So what we have in every single book is an estimated freight and handling based on, we know where these books will be shipping from. So we have an LTL freight rate per pallet, and we know how many paperbacks, we have an estimate of paperbacks and hardcovers that we can get per pallet. And then we know that we pay $400 per pallet just to get them into the building. So we take that number and we divide it by the books in a pallet, and that's what we're putting on there to cover the freight. So I'm taking a risk. I could lose my ass on freight, but I don't think I will. But again, this is an experiment. That's part of the risk I'm willing to take to make this work. But the idea is that you don't have to figure out those costs. It's built in there. So if you were to compare that against, say, your Amazon print cost, or your Ingham Spark, or your Book Vault, or your Lulu, understand there is an additional amount of money that's somewhere between like $1.20 and $2.40 that's added in there. Per book. But you don't have to, like, if you shipped a carton of books in, or here's the craziest thing, especially if you order from Amazon, they decide how many boxes of books they're going to, like, one box could have 2 books in it and the other one could have 50.
Yeah.
Right. We've all had that
crazy. Yeah.
Right. Like,
yeah.
But every one of those boxes is going to cost you at least $20 to get in the building. So that's where there's this big shift in cost. Now, the other part of this is, and your question is, as an author, what you would be on the hook for pre-show is whatever books you bought for your show stock. So like in my example, I said it was 10 books or 30 books, times $9.80. How that works is we're going to charge you the day that you order those, the cost of those books. When we sell those books on show day, we'll collect the full price plus sales tax. And then what you'll get paid is your full price less the stripe charge. So we deduct our stripe charge, but so, you're going to have a very high margin on that. So.
Okay. Yeah. So you get, so you would prepay when you order the inventory. On the day when they're sold, you'll be paid once everything's tallied up, you'll be paid the full price minus the stripe. And are you guys getting any special deals on the stripe fee because of the bulk that you're?
Not yet. We haven't. Yeah. We'll work on that. But and then how we'll pay, to get kind of really into the weeds, we'll pay 45 days after the event closes.
Okay.
And we'll pay by ACH. So we're trying to keep fees down on that. So we'll have a we'll have all the people that have, gotten a ticket for the show and been approved for RAVE that are doing this
Yeah.
to, give us we'll send them a thing. They put in their stuff into the system. And then, when the time comes, we'll just pay that out of the account.
Okay. And just because I know there are people who aren't going to know, ACH is basically direct deposit. They'll put the money directly in your account. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. So that there's not like PayPal fees and another guy
Right.
in there trying to scoop another 3% off of us. So, and then that also gives us an opportunity to do any kind of reconciliation. So, one of the things we didn't talk about is if you are the kind of person that wants to bring your stock, you can put it into the store as well, and you can sell it through our store.
Yeah.
It's a little bit different, but if you were to say ship a bunch of boxes in and then we get hit with those fees, we're going to pass those fees on to you.
Right.
So,
but if you're just rolling in like a carry-on bag full of novels, they could be.
That will not, there's nothing, especially at the Horseshoe, like they're cool with you, like rolling the luggage cart through with boxes into the show. They're not going to say anything about that. Right. Yeah. And I know in the past, folks have like run out to the garage and got another case of books and brought it in. That's all going to work out fine. You would just need to go into our system and add those books into the inventory so that people would see them there, because, like if you're doing this now. So we've got some people that are traditionally published that are going to be in the store that their publisher will be sending the books in.
Okay.
So like JD Barker is going to be there and he's going to be in the store. His stuff may already be up. I think I saw it there. We'll go look at the store in a minute. So like, he's not going to ship his books.
Yeah.
Simon and Schuster is, right?
Right.
But he has to go in there and say, hey, set a stock level, say at 300 books or 700 books. You can always kick it up, right?
Yeah.
Then we'll know, okay, you sold 260 books. We can tell him that. He can tell them to ship that in, but there'll be a fee on that box that goes in that will charge him back.
Okay. All right. That makes sense. And so what about let's pivot real quick from print books and things like that, because you're gonna include like products and things, right? Like swag type stuff that people or whatever. Yeah. For product and relate ancillary products, things like that. How is the same sort of deal? Like I let you know I'm bringing 100 rubber ducks or whatever, and you put them in the inventory, or how's that going to work?
So a couple things you could do. So, let's say you've got 100, you want to sell 100 rubber ducks. You would go in and create that as a product of your own inventory. And you would say, I'm going to bring 100 rubber ducks. Okay.
All right.
Here's another way you could do it. You could say, you know what? Everybody that buys one of my books gets a rubber duck.
While supplies last.
Yeah. If you act now.
Right. Yeah.
But you don't have to bring, in this case, the only thing you're bringing is rubber ducks. You could have the book. So now you put up a picture of your book with the rubber duck.
Yeah.
It's set up as a POD. We're going to do the pre-order on the POD. So we'll send 100 books and then you just have to bring your 100 rubber ducks to hand out.
Okay.
The other thing, so like for this year, we're only focused on physical books, physical products. We really feel strongly about this idea of readers looking for memorabilia. We will eventually be rolling out electronic file-based stuff, but this was such a big undertaking. We had to get this part right.
Yeah.
But that doesn't stop you from doing things like this. So I've been talking to narrators about, you can go get cards made like this. It's like just like a thick credit card.
Yeah.
That is actually a USB. So it's storage. So, I was talking to an author. I don't want to use his name yet because he hasn't decided that he's going to do this, but and he's got a very strong relationship with his narrator. And I said, well, write a short story that's special and have your narrator record it and then go get a bunch of these made and load it up. And by the way, what this company that I got this from, they come loaded with your files. You send them the file and they put it on the card. So you don't have to do anything.
That's pretty sweet.
So this is the card, and it's got a little thing that flips out. I'm making sure it's in focus or as best I can. It's trying to focus on my, but what you see is that it's just a little USB thing. And this has a lot of storage. This is, I don't know, a gig, but it looks like a card, right? So the idea is you can sell these for, say 5, maybe if it's a full story, you do more. But the cool part of it is if you have like a gel pen or like a metallic Sharpie, the narrator and the author can sign this, right? So they can walk away with something that they can have on their bookshelf and have as a file that they can listen to.
Yeah. So this is what I said, but before we started recording was you've basically solved the autograph a digital product problem.
Yeah.
Like, yeah. So what about so you're not going to handle it yourself though? Are you prohibiting people from, it's like if I showed up with signage that had like QR codes to go buy my book online somewhere, are you
do whatever you want? I mean, here's the other thing is like, if you're the guy that's like, I got my system, I got the van, I got my Square reader, and I've got my system. God bless, come and use it. Do it your way. We're not telling you how to do this. You will have to collect sales tax and remit it to us, but you're probably pretty used to doing that, right? We'll give you a form and you got to pay us, that kind of stuff. But what you lose in doing that is you don't get the visibility and the marketing that we're going to be doing to sell stuff on this store, because we're marketing the store and the event, and we're bringing people to buy a ticket and get books.
Yeah. Yeah. That's there are a lot of advantages to this, by the way, and I'm a lazy person when it comes to this kind of thing. So it sounds like you are building it specifically for me because I want to do as little as possible in this process.
I think you're being a little mean to yourself. I think it's the idea of what are the pain points? What's the friction that we see in this kind of stuff? And think about this. There are people willing to put up with all of this friction at this point because they find real value in it. And what's that value? I think the people that are doing this the right way and the smart way is they're seeing that they're finding customers that have this really high willingness to pay, right?
Yeah.
Like there's going to be people that come to the show that have paid $500 just for the ticket.
Right.
Okay.
Right.
And then they're going to come and spend thousands of dollars on books. Once we know who those people are and the genres they like, we can use technology to find more people like that.
Yeah.
And more importantly for you, and this is where the real indie spirit comes, you get all that information. I'm not hiding it from you like another retailer.
Very nice.
You're going to see all of your customer information of your orders. You won't see my orders or Timmy's orders, but you'll see all of yours.
Yeah. But just that. And even if you've only got like a handful of people who pop up to buy that, like getting demographic information like that is very useful. Especially for
one of the things, and this kind of gets a little off the signing story, but I think it's an important point. So Thursday night, the kickoff of RAVE, we have Kevin Smith coming to speak.
Yeah.
And one of the things we did is we set up special seating for that night. Right? There's a certain section of seating that readers are going to pay $500 to a seat to sit in. And there's a lot of there, you heard it. There was a lot of people that felt that this was a grave injustice to the author community, that we were creating a class system. I am creating a class system, but it's not for authors.
Yeah.
It's for customers.
Yeah.
Okay. Think about this. If you have a ticket to Author Nation, if you buy a live ticket, as an author, you will have a seat in that room. It may not be in the special section. we've limited the number of seats so that we know we will have 1,000 readers in that event. Some will be
Yep.
gold ticket holders, some will be silver ticket holders. So these are people
Yeah.
that paid either $250 or $500. So
Yeah.
you could be in a room with 1,000 readers,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Warming them up for the next day. Oh, you're a reader. What do you like to read? Well, I like to read mysteries and thrillers. Did you know
Yes.
I write mysteries and thrillers?
Yeah.
Come to
Yeah.
my table. I'll have a book set aside for you.
Yeah. I'm gonna be the one wandering around like, as my good friend Kevin Smith there says. Uh, so yes, that's the thing. I think it kind of slips under the radar for a lot of the folks who are kind of complaining because they're not quite connecting the idea. Like that event isn't about, oh, I get to go see Kevin Smith. That's your bonus. The point of the event is to draw in those readers who could actually pay your way to possibly taking a yacht cruise with Kevin Smith someday on your
Yeah.
own personal yacht
Yeah.
or
Yeah.
whatever. Yeah.
It's can we get readers that like Kevin Smith in a room and give you a chance to sell them books?
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
That's the opportunity set. Or you could be focused on, well, this is about who can afford what. You choose. It's your mindset. I don't care. I
Yeah.
know that my focus would be on, could I find 300 people that are willing to pay $200 for a seat, and
Right.
maybe the same in books? Because if I had those names on a list, I could use that to focus my Facebook ads. I could use that in my building of my email list. There's a lot of things that I could do from a marketing standpoint outside of the live event that would help me to find the right customers that aren't going to argue with me about what a book is worth.
Yeah. I, for one, am bringing all my cards with that little URL on it that lets people sign up for my mailing list to get a free book.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's
And,
that's how I'm spending my vacation.
with the stuff that you've been so passionate about lately, which is like this whole artisan age thing, is
Yeah.
like, this is where that stuff is happening, right?
Yeah.
This is
Yeah.
where people are coming and they're like, it won't be so much. We'll see some of it at the show, but when you go to some of these signing events where people have got like one of a kind special edition books that they've just brought in for the show and they're only selling 20 copies, and all kinds of crazy stuff. There's even people that are coming to these events to sell other memorabilia for like collecting signatures at a signing event.
Yeah. 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 If you've ever been in like the sort of the vendor hall of like a Comic-Con or something like
Mm-hmm.
that, like I imagine I mean, I've seen Rave is kind of like that, but now it's even more so. But it's sort of like if you combine that idea with a Barnes and Noble, they're walking into this. It's like a Barnes and Noble with a bunch of signing tables,
Yeah.
instead of racks of books. They actually get to come in and wander around the aisles and meet these authors, and that's your point of sale right there, and everything's taken care of for you.
Yeah.
Yeah,
What might help is if we like maybe take a quick walk through the store and I show you some of the stuff it can do.
let's do that.
Because there's some pretty cool features that we've designed in there. So let me give you a quick walkthrough at the store here. We've got these steps, right? So you're going to pick your ticket. You're going to look through some books. We have this single checkout experience, and then, of course, attend the event. So one of the things I want to show you is we've got these different ticket levels that we talked about. But if somebody picks the general admission ticket and adds that to their cart, and then decides, okay, I'm going to start going to look through some books. One way they can do that is they can go by authors, and you can see the folks that we have signing up here, right? So we got our buddy Johnny here. Maybe I want to add this book here. You can see there's the opportunity for building series that have a discount just on the series.
Yeah,
That's something that you choose to do as an author. So if you have a series, you can then put your books in that series, and then you can say, well, I'm going to discount that bundle.
Hmm.
Maybe I go over to the Solari guy. I throw one of his books in here, right? Um, and as the author, you're going to have control over all this, what your product page looks like. Um, you can see what different people are doing with their author page, right? So mine just had 2 books on it. This is Dakota's. And, he's got all these books he's loaded up. And take full advantage of this where you have links to to your other sites. Like, go back to your direct site. So he's got the Mountaindale store and all his socials. We're cool with all of that, right?
Yeah.
You have the ability, maybe I want a little science fiction. We'll go over and check out Cheney, pick up one of his books, right? And you start to see here, there's the ability to do related books, or as sales start to happen, you will see what books get bought with others. So I think it only is working on mine because of testing we've done. Actually, we cleared that out. That was in the old store. So anyhow, if we go and look at our cart, you'll see right now my bill is $77, right?
Yeah.
Now, once I got over $100 in books being sold, I got $25 off the ticket.
Oh, okay.
So the idea is we're incentivizing readers to buy books. So you theoretically can come, buy $100 worth of books, get into the show for free, or get $25 off the higher price tickets.
Yeah.
So we're doing things, since we can't discount books. We're not in the business of selling and profiting from books. So we're not doing that. You can discount your books. We can't. What we can do is we can say, hey, we're prepared to forego revenue at the gate to get more books sold.
Yeah.
Right.
Pretty generous considering you're not making anything off of the books. The conference isn't making anything off the books. So at that point, your conference isn't making anything off the reader, right?
Well, again, we've already made a significant investment. And I think this is the other thing. I was actually talking to Craig this morning, and he brought the point up, is like, these are the kind of things you can do once you make a show for profit.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
This, like, what built this store is Joe Solari money. Like, I invested a significant amount of money that has yet to be paid back.
Yeah.
To build this thing, because I believe enough in this vision to invest in it, because I know it's going to pay off, right? We see what we can do with this as a community, it makes so much sense, right? And I'm going to save fees over time because I don't have to pay Eventbrite or some other ticket venue system, because next year all my tickets for all the show will be sold through the same system.
Oh, okay. All right.
Right. So there's just a lot of functionality that we have once we have control over this. And like we were talking about before we got on to record, the idea is this becomes the first place that readers come to look for stuff. And when they see that, oh, well, I love these books, but I don't necessarily want to go to a show in Las Vegas in November, that we send them to you to buy direct, right? This is about discovery as well. So, as you see going through this author list, we've got a great mix of folks, and it's filling out pretty quick. So, romance, science fiction, lit RPG.
Yeah.
But we just opened this up a couple weeks ago, so that's one of the other reasons why I wanted to have this conversation, is the idea of getting people to make the decision to come to the show and register so they can get their books up here, because August 1st, we're marketing this thing aggressively.
Yeah.
So
And what I like here is because one of my concerns, throughout a big chunk of my career was always like the overhead of having a whole bunch of books sent to a conference. I got to pay out of pocket for that. And if I don't sell those, now I'm out money. So there's a huge risk for me. So if I don't happen to have the kind of revenue that could help me, take that risk, then I'm just out of luck and I don't get to participate. But in this system, like you could just simply make the book available through this, even if you're not planning to have inventory at the show itself. If you're just you could use this as like a pre-order system for the book. Am I right on that? Yeah.
Yeah. So like you could choose to say, the only thing I'm going to have at the show is the things I pre-order. I'm not going to
Yeah.
bring any stock. I'm not going to have anything. Maybe I have some cards with some QR codes to some free ebooks if people come up, but
Yeah.
I don't want to be dealing with that. I don't want to have extra stock. I don't want to. That's cool. That's your choice. Or you can say, you know what? I'm going to have, you know, 5 of the, you know, first book in every series. And
Yeah.
then the other thing that we haven't talked about is we have got an agreement with FedEx to have a booth at RAVE, and we're going to pre-negotiate 20-pound and 50-pound boxes outbound for the lower 48 states. So that's a great thing for readers because they can walk to that table and hand over their books and just send the stuff home
Yeah.
for less than it would cost for overweight baggage. But that's not to stop an author from doing the same thing. Or we'll have any books that get left behind that people just are like, listen, I'm not going to bring it. We'll donate those to some charity, local charity. So we make sure that they end up with some people, they get a good home. But yeah, I don't think that's a horrible decision to say, like, I'm not going to actually sell at the event walk up.
Mhm.
It does limit your ability to find that new customer though.
Yeah. I think what I'm leaning in on here though is there's no reason not to go ahead and list. You don't there's nothing there's no harm that's gonna come to you if you have your book set up in this. And so you gain the ability to go ahead and maybe do pre-orders. And maybe if you're seeing a lot of pre-orders, that's a good sign that you should go ahead and invest to I'm talking to the authors now, by the way, who maybe are not quite there where they've got the money to
Yeah.
throw into this. But like there's no reason not to do this because it's not going to cost you anything. But you might see that, oh, there's a demand for the book. And so you do the friends and family fundraising round and you buy some books, or you do a real quick Kickstarter or something and or GoFundMe, and you raise the money it takes to to get an inventory. So that's a good way to sort of test the waters.
Yeah. And remember, it's going to be the cost of your books,
Yeah.
right? That you have to do that. And what I would say to this is, our research shows that the longer we can have a pre-order period, the more books will sell, because for readers that tend to go to these events, once they commit to an event, they'll come back to the store
Yeah.
and continue to buy. Like, they'll save money and they'll buy some more books. They'll save money, they'll buy some more books, right?
Yeah.
And so this year, because of our development cycle, we can only do from the end of July through to October.
Yeah.
Next year we'll have a much longer period, because if your books are in here, we're going to reopen up the store. And the cool thing is you can load, your stuff is loaded in our store. We just turn it back on
Yeah.
in 2025.
Yeah.
Right. And if you have a few launches, you put them up in the store throughout the year.
How hard is it? How time consuming is it to do each book? Because I've got like 75 books. So
Yeah. So it's a POD process, right? So
Yeah,
you're going to
yeah,
have to, like, probably the most onerous part, because we are actually connected in via an API into the printer. So it verifies the file pretty quick.
okay,
Um, the bigger issue is putting in all your appropriate metadata,
yeah,
getting your descriptions right, because it's going to matter, because this stuff is going to, how your tags relate to, and what categories you're in.
yep,
Like, we're bringing back the old school days when that stuff mattered as a book marketer, the
yeah,
stuff
yeah,
you and I remember, right? Like,
yeah,
we have really niche down, what we've done, we've made some choices based on our show, what categories are top level categories. So like post-apoc is pulled out as its own category at Rave, because we have such a strong showing. Lit RPG is pulled out of fantasy into its own category, because we have such a massive showing between the Sound Booth Theater and Matt Damon, or Matt Dinneman, and
yeah. I don't think people quite realize how big a deal what you're talking about actually is, because that we don't get that kind of, you know, granular control when it comes to selling on Amazon or selling on Apple. So that's a
yeah,
big
they may
deal.
not even have a category for you,
Right.
right?
Exactly right. So,
Um,
and let me throw in real quick that
yeah,
what if you do have multiple books, the time consuming parts are, setting up, doing the metadata. What I would recommend is go ahead and set up book one and see what you're going to need, and then spend the bulk of your time like sharpening the saw, basically. Like, go ahead and create a spreadsheet or something that's got everything you need, so you can really quickly copy and paste when you're setting up all the rest of your books.
yeah,
That's
and we have a Notion checklist that we created with some
excellent.
videos and stuff for those that are approved and um, buy a table, we send that to them
Yeah,
it's got like, hey, have this stuff figured out. Think about these things, because we want you to set up, like, hey, you can stick in a video on your author page,
oh nice,
right?
very nice.
Um, what kind of graphics do you want to put in here? Like, build this thing so that it's representative of your brand.
Yeah,
We really want, we're trying to do the things that I personally detest on most of these platforms, right? It's like they just try and treat us like we're just another product, whether it's birdseed
right.
or books,
Yeah,
that just, but we're not. It's different. And we're selling an experience. And sometimes you need some other things, like, as strange as it sounds, is sometimes you, as an author, talking about your story world is what's going to sell a lot of books. So have
yeah,
a video.
exactly. Yeah. Yes. This is where that sort of thing is useful, rather than trying to post that kind of thing on like social media, where it's sort of like casting. Like, the people who are going to come here and look at this, the exposure they get to that on this controlled environment, like, they're there for it.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
this is about discovery. They're looking, that it's like qualifying leads. So very exciting, Joe. I mean, we're coming up on like 45 minutes. We should probably look at wrapping up, unless you got
Yeah. We
a
should. We
ton of
should.
things to share. But let's recap a little so that we can kind of summarize for folks. Um, so this is Kevin's take. This is Kevin's take
Yes.
on things. So first of all, no overhead out of the author's pocket unless you are ordering books for inventory at Rave.
Mm-hmm.
Um, the storefront itself is going to have some discoverability, and people can pre-order, and if they pre-order, they can actually get free access to the event.
Mm-hmm.
Um, the $25 ticket price. Is there another price point or something where they get something else, or is it just the 100 and they get 25 off?
So the way we have it set up is $25 off a ticket when you spend $100 or more on books.
Okay.
So that gets you the general admission ticket for free. So you can just go in and get your books.
Yep.
It gets you 10% off the silver ticket and 5% off the gold ticket. And the difference in those tickets are, um, with the general admission ticket, you get to go onto the expo center and get your books. You also
Mhm.
get access to the panels that we're having, and there's some swag that we're giving away. The $250 ticket gets you into VIP stuff, and it gets you a VIP bag. And it also gets you into the Kevin Smith Thursday night event. The gold gets you all of that plus special seating at the Kevin Smith event, and it gets you a ticket to the fantasy party on Friday night.
There you go.
One last, as an Author Nation, if you buy your Author Nation live ticket, it's equal to the general admission ticket on Friday, and it's equal to the $250 ticket on Thursday night.
Okay. All right. Those are important facts. All right.
Yeah.
Okay. Let's talk now where they go to set this up. What URL should we give them to go?
So first thing I had to do is go to Author Nation Live, buy their ticket to the show, and indicate their interest in RAVE. Right? I'm interested in a RAVE table. You tick that box. We're then going to send you a form to fill out. If you haven't published a book yet, if you're really new in this, come to RAVE and walk around. Don't get a table. Not worth your time. It's especially if you haven't launched a book yet. This is not a launch exercise. While we are doing some launch events on the store, these are experienced authors that are using a live event as part of their launch strategy. This is advanced stuff. This is not for the noob. Do not do this.
Yeah. I think it should go without saying, if you don't have a book to sell, don't go signing up for some an event where you have to sell a book. That's probably but maybe.
Yeah. I think that, there's some folks that are like, well, my book will be done by then. I think I'll do it. Right. It's like, no, because also that's where our team spends the most time, is with people that are new. Mm-hmm. And we've got a lot of moving parts. So as we grow, we'll have more and more like, if you come and you learn at the event this year, you will be prepared next year to really be successful at RAVE. And we're going to scale this thing up. We're moving. Eventually, I want this thing where we're at the Las Vegas Convention Center. So it's not going to be, we're not going to have enough tables.
Yeah.
We just have to manage the crowd.
Yeah.
And that's something that we're going to do over time. So so back to your initial question, buy your ticket, indicate, we're going to send you a form to fill out. From there, once you're approved, because we need to go check and see where your books are and, do a little research on you. Then we'll send you to buy your RAVE table. And then that kicks you into the process to set up your account on the signing store. So you have to have a RAVE table first. Then it's all automatic after that. We start sending you emails and links and passwords and all that fun stuff. But if you're not an Author Nation Live attendee, no RAVE table for you.
Yeah. Right. Excellent. How much is the RAVE table? What does it cost you?
Full table is $175.
Okay.
And that includes lunch.
Oh, okay. Might do it just to get lunch. I mean, it's like $200 to eat in Vegas anyway.
Well, half the table cost is the lunch.
That sounds like he's joking, but
it's not. It's
all right. AuthorNation.live.
AuthorNation.live.
AuthorNation.live. That's where you get started, get the whole football, moving. All right, Joe. I think, man, I'm kind of, I know you are too, but I'm really kind of excited about,
it's
not just what this is going to be for this event, but like what it's going to mean going. I don't think people think about it, and I know that you're fielding some complaints from some folks, but I know that this is going to be a game changer for the industry itself. So,
if you're disappointed because what was is gone, yes, there's reason for disappointment.
Yeah.
If you can't see where we're going, I can't help you.
Yeah.
But I am my focus. There's a lot of people that have explained to me everything I'm doing wrong. I hear you, but I'm more than happy to sit down and like we're doing here and talking through the bigger vision. And I know there's been a quiet period. It was because we were doing the work to get this done. Right.
Yeah.
And I'm a big one about, let me just show you, just like this is what we're doing, right? Like nobody has ever built anything like this before. And this is phase one.
Yeah.
Phase two
Yeah.
will be rolled out in November. We'll be talking about that at the show. And there's a phase 3 and 4 that changes the entire industry forever.
Excellent. Look, man, if people weren't explaining to me what I was doing wrong with my life, I wouldn't have anybody talking to me at all. So I think
No,
we're gonna go ahead and go ahead, Joe. You want to add
no, I
something?
get it. I'm just happy we got the opportunity to do this, and we got guys like you that are supporting us. And there's a lot of people that are like, okay, now I see what you're up to. This
Yeah.
is a big deal.
You should pay close attention. You want to see what they're up to. It astounds me that people don't see it. But well, and I got no real dog in this fight. Like I'm not getting paid or anything like that. I'm simply seeing which way the wind's blowing. That's all. So, all right.
Yeah,
Let's go ahead and wrap up then.
let's do it.
And we already know where to go, authournation.live. Make sure you go get your tickets, get set up, get your rave table, get all that. We will see you. I'm going to be there. Joe's going to be there. So we'll see you at Author Nation Vegas. See you there.
Bye-bye. Thanks a lot.